"Diana," I shouted, stomping through the gravel, "you stole my fuel." She didn't even flinch, just turned pink blazer, glowing like arrogance made flesh. "Correction," she said, voice dripping honey. "We removed a violation." I pointed at the 6 hollow tanks. "That's 8 months of propane you left my grandson in a freezing house." Her smile sharpened. "Then maybe you should have followed the rules, Mr. Brennan." "Rules?" I stepped closer, fist tightening around the deed. "You drained my property without a warrant. That's theft." She leaned in. "That's compliance." I laughed once short, cold. "No, ma'am. That's your last mistake. My name is Marcus Brennan. I'm 61, retired Air Force logistics, and I don't freeze easy. 23 years keeping soldiers warm in war zones taught me 2 things: protect your people and document everything." Diana had just made a tactical error. She'd targeted someone who knew exactly how to fight back. I grabbed my phone and called 911. "I need to report a theft. Someone drained my propane tanks overnight without authorization." The dispatcher sounded skeptical. "Sir, was this your HOA?" "I'm not in the HOA. My property is private, and I have security footage of the theft." That changed her tone. "Officers are on the way." 2 patrol cars arrived within 20 minutes. I showed them the empty tanks, the cut fence lock, and most importantly, the security footage. 2:40 a.m. A commercial tanker truck, 2 men in hazmat suits pumping fuel from my tanks, and Diana Castellano herself standing under the work lights, pointing, directing, supervising. Officer Rodriguez watched the footage twice. "Mr. Brennan, you're saying the HOA president was present during the removal?" "She orchestrated it." He exchanged looks with his partner. "That's not typical HOA enforcement. That's coordinated. It's theft," I said flatly. "And my grandson is asthmatic. Without heat, he's at medical risk." Rodriguez made notes. "We'll file a report, but HOAs have legal protections. You might need a lawyer." "I know. I'm calling one now." Patricia Vance didn't sugarcoat it. "They're wrong, but this won't be easy. HOAs hire expensive lawyers and drag cases out until homeowners run out of money." "I don't plan to run out," I said. She smiled slightly. "Good. Then, let's make them bleed." That afternoon, I did something Diana wouldn't expect from a harmless old veteran. I posted the security footage online. Raw. Unedited. With a simple caption: HOA president caught on camera stealing propane from disabled veteran's grandson. 2:40 a.m. No warrant. No notice. In Phoenix, winter nights hit 35 degrees. My grandson has asthma. This is how Diana Castellano enforces community standards. The video hit 5,000 views in an hour. Then 50,000 by evening when local news picked it up. Channel 12 sent a reporter. I showed her the empty tanks, the cut lock, Tyler's inhaler. Mrs. Castellano claims this was a safety removal. She said, "Does she know you're a retired Air Force logistics officer with 23 years of experience managing fuel systems in war zones?" I looked directly at the camera. If she'd asked, I would have explained that my system is county approved, professionally installed, and safer than most residential setups in Arizona. But she didn't ask. She just took. The segment aired at 6 p.m. My phone started ringing at 6:03. "Mr. Brennan, this is Carmen Rodriguez. Diana did something similar to me last year, destroyed my chicken coop while I was out of town, killed all 10 birds. I was too scared to fight back. Document everything." I told her dates, photos, any communications. We're not alone anymore. By midnight, 17 people had called. Each had a story. Each had been terrorized into silence. Until now. Diana's empire was cracking, but I hadn't seen her countermove coming. 3 days later, a sheriff's deputy knocked on my door with a restraining order, not against Diana, against me. "Mr. Brennan, you're prohibited from posting about Mrs. Castellano online, contacting Desert Vista residents, or approaching within 500 feet of HOA property." I stared at the paper, heart sinking. On what grounds? Harassment and defamation. She's filed a civil suit claiming your video damaged her reputation and endangered her safety. Anonymous online threats were traced to people who watched your video. I didn't threaten anyone. She's not claiming you did. She's claiming you incited others. Court date is set for 2 weeks. Patricia called it a slap suit, strategic lawsuit against public participation. It's designed to silence you through legal costs and time, but we can fight it. How long? 6 months minimum, maybe a year. Legal fees could hit $40,000. I looked at Tyler doing homework at the kitchen table, wearing 2 jackets because the house was 52 degrees. The space heater I'd bought buzzed in the corner, barely keeping up. I don't have $40,000. I don't have 6 months. Then we need to move fast, Patricia said. File for expedited discovery. Force them to produce records before they can bury us in procedure. But that night, things escalated. I woke at 2 a.m. to breaking glass. Someone had thrown a brick through my living room window. Taped to it was a printed screenshot of my address with a note. Veterans who lie about HOAs deserve what they get. My hands shook as I called 911. Tyler was crying in his bedroom. The house was freezing cold air pouring through the broken window. Officer Rodriguez arrived within minutes, the same cop who'd taken my original theft report. Mr. Brennan, this is the 3rd incident we've logged at your address this week. The slashed tires, the CPS call, now this. You think it's connected to Diana? He looked at the note. Can't prove it, but the timing's suspicious. What can I do? Install better security. Document everything. And Mr. Brennan? He hesitated. Be careful. When people with power feel threatened, they don't fight fair. I spent the next day boarding up the window and installing additional cameras. Jake Marino helped, his security expertise showing in every placement angle. You're building a fortress? He observed. I'm building evidence, I corrected. Everything that happens now gets recorded. That afternoon, my phone rang. Unknown number. I answered on speaker. A man's voice, digitally distorted. Drop the lawsuit, Brennan. Sell your house. Leave Phoenix, or your grandson gets hurt. I went cold. Who is this? Click. Dial tone. I immediately called Patricia and the police. They traced the number burner phone. Untraceable. We can't prove Diana's involved, Rodriguez said. But file for a protective order. At minimum, it creates a record. The hearing for my protective order was scheduled for the same day as Diana's restraining order hearing. Judge Santos heard both cases back to back. I presented evidence, the slashed tires, the brick, the phone threat, the CPS report, all occurring after I'd posted the video. Deanna's lawyer argued there was no direct evidence connecting his client to any incidents. Your Honor, Mrs. Castellano is a respected community leader being victimized by a disgruntled homeowner's smear campaign. Then explain this, Patricia said, introducing a new piece of evidence. Thomas Abbott, the board member, had provided more than financial records. He'd given us Diana's private email account, the one she used for sensitive communications. In it were messages to someone named Robert, her husband. The veteran is becoming a problem. Can your contacts apply pressure? I've arranged for a friendly call to CPS. That should scare him. If he doesn't drop this, we'll need to escalate. Judge Santos read each email, her expression darkening. Mrs. Castellano, did you coordinate harassment against Mr. Brennan? Diana's face went white. Those emails are taken out of context. The context appears to be witness intimidation and conspiracy to harass. Your restraining order is denied. Mr. Brennan's protective order is granted. You are prohibited from any contact with Mr. Brennan or his family, direct or indirect. Diana left the courtroom looking smaller somehow, but I knew this wasn't over. Cornered animals bite harder. That night, I couldn't sleep. Every sound made me jump. Was it another brick? Another threat? Tyler noticed. Grandpa, you're scared. I wanted to lie. Tell him everything was fine. But I'd always been honest with him. Yeah, buddy. I am. But being scared doesn't mean we quit. It means we're careful. Did you ever get scared in the Air Force? I thought about cargo flights into hostile zones, alarms blaring, tracer fire lighting up the night, all the time. But you know what got me through? What? Remembering what I was fighting for. Not just a mission, people, family, home. He hugged me. Then we keep fighting. 7 years old, tougher than I'd ever been. The next morning brought unexpected help. A local veterans organization called Desert Warriors had seen the news coverage. Their president, a retired Marine named Sarah Castellano, no relation to Diana, offered pro bono legal support. "We don't let people terrorize our veterans," she said simply. "How can we help?" Within a week, Desert Warriors organized a fundraiser. Other veterans showed up with supplies, space heaters, blankets, firewood for our backup fireplace. A local propane company, owned by a Navy veteran, offered to refill my tanks at cost once the legal situation resolved. Diana messed with the wrong guy. The owner said, "We take care of our own." The community support overwhelmed me, but it also painted a bigger target. Diana's next move was strategic and vicious. She held a press conference. Wearing a navy blue suit, the pink blazer was gone now. Her image consultant must have advised against it. She stood before cameras with tears in her eyes. "I've dedicated 5 years to serving Desert Vista Estates," she said, voice trembling. "And now I'm being vilified by a man who refuses to follow basic safety regulations. Mr. Brennan claims to be a veteran, but we've found inconsistencies in his service record." The lie was perfect. Subtle enough to plant doubt, specific enough to sound researched, vague enough to avoid immediate fact-checking. Local news ran with it. HOA president questions veterans' claims in heated property dispute. My phone exploded. Angry messages, accusations, stolen valor tags on my social media. Even some of my Air Force buddies reached out confused. "Marcus, what's she talking about?" I pulled my DD 214 military discharge papers and posted them publicly. Every date, every deployment, every commendation. "Diana Castellano is lying," I wrote. "Here's my proof. Where's hers?" But the damage was done. Doubt spreads faster than truth. Even Patricia looked worried. "Marcus, this is bad. She's turned public opinion against you. Some of our plaintiff witnesses are getting cold feet." Then we prove she's lying. Completely. Undeniably. How? I thought about it. We make her do it under oath. Patricia filed an emergency motion for expedited discovery, specifically requesting Diana's communications regarding any investigation into my military service. If she's claiming she verified inconsistencies, she needs to produce her sources. The hearing was brutal. Diana's lawyer fought hard. "This is a fishing expedition, Your Honor. Mrs. Castellano's statement was based on publicly available information." "What publicly available information?" Judge Santos interrupted. "Specifically," the lawyer stammered, "general online research. Did your client contact the Department of Defense? Veterans Affairs? Any official military records office?" I don't believe so, Your Honor." Then she lied. Santos looked at Diana. "Mrs. Castellano, did you or did you not investigate Mr. Brennan's military service before publicly questioning it?" Diana stood slowly. "I relied on information provided by a community member. Name them." "I." It was anonymous. "So you publicly accused a veteran of stolen valor based on an anonymous tip you never verified?" Silence. Judge Santos's voice turned to ice. "Discovery granted. Mrs. Castellano, you will produce all communications related to your statement about Mr. Brennan's service. You have 72 hours. The documents arrived on a Friday. What they revealed wasn't just damaging, it was criminal. Diana hadn't received an anonymous tip. She'd created the allegation herself, drafting a memo to her lawyer asking him to find inconsistencies in my record. When he'd refused, saying no inconsistencies existed, she'd made the statement anyway. She'd knowingly lied to damage my credibility. Patricia smiled when she saw it. "This is defamation, and it's premeditated. We can add it to the civil case. But more importantly, It destroyed Diana's remaining public support. Veterans organizations across Arizona issued statements condemning her. Desert Vista residents who defended her went quiet. The local news that had run her press conference issued a correction and apology. Diana's empire wasn't just cracking, it was collapsing. But she had one final play. 2 days before our major court hearing, Tyler collapsed at school. Asthma attack, severe. They rushed him to Phoenix Children's Hospital. I drove 90 miles per hour, hands shaking, praying harder than I had in 20 years. He was stable when I arrived, oxygen mask on, color returning, alive. Thank God, alive. The doctor pulled me aside. Mr. Brennan, Tyler's asthma is worsened by cold exposure and stress. Has he been in consistently heated environments? I felt like I'd been punched. We've had heating issues. I've been using space heaters. That's not sufficient. He needs a warm, stable environment, especially at night. This attack was triggered by prolonged cold exposure and anxiety. Anxiety? He told the school nurse he's scared someone will hurt his grandpa. That level of stress in a 7-year-old with asthma. The doctor didn't finish. He didn't need to. I sat beside Tyler's hospital bed, holding his small hand, watching him breathe through the oxygen mask, and felt something break inside me. I'd been so focused on fighting Diana, on winning, on justice, that I'd missed what it was costing Tyler. The fear, the cold, the instability. Maybe Diana was right. Maybe I should just sell, take the money, move somewhere warm and safe where Tyler could breathe easy, start over. Grandpa? Tyler's voice was muffled through the mask. I'm here, buddy. Did we lose? I couldn't answer. Grandpa, did we lose? Tears ran down my face. I don't know. Tyler pulled off the oxygen mask. The nurse would have scolded him. We can't lose. Diana's mean. If we quit, she'll be mean to someone else. Tyler, you're in the hospital because of this fight. I'm in the hospital because she stole our heat. That's not your fault. He grabbed my hand tighter. We can't quit, Grandpa. Mom always said you never quit. Not in the Air Force, not ever. We're Brennans. We don't freeze. I lost it. Completely. Crying in a children's hospital room while my 7-year-old grandson reminded me who I was supposed to be. A nurse knocked quietly. Mr. Brennan, there are some people here to see you. I wiped my eyes, expecting Patricia or Jake. Instead, the room filled with 15 people. Carmen Rodriguez, Victor Chen, Beth Morrison, Thomas Abbott, other residents I'd met briefly, Sarah from Desert Warriors, even Officer Rodriguez, off duty, in civilian clothes. Carmen spoke first. We heard about Tyler. We took up a collection. She handed me an envelope. Inside was $8,000 in checks and cash for his medical bills and to refill your propane tanks. Right now, tonight. You don't have to. You stood up when we were too scared, Victor said. Now we stand with you, Beth added quietly. Diana's terrorized this neighborhood for 5 years. You're not just fighting for your house anymore, Marcus. You're fighting for all of us. And we're not letting you do it alone. Tyler pulled his oxygen mask off again. See, Grandpa, we didn't lose. The nurse tried to put it back on. Tyler waved her away. We have friends. Friends don't let you freeze. I couldn't speak, could barely breathe. These people, some I'd known for weeks, some for days, had become family. Patricia pushed through the crowd. I have news. The Arizona Attorney General's office just filed criminal charges. 12 counts of theft, 8 counts of fraud, 4 counts of elder abuse, 2 counts of organized crime. Diana Castellano was arrested an hour ago. The room erupted in cheers. Tyler pumped his small fist in the air. We didn't lose. No, I said, finding my voice. We didn't lose. That night, after Tyler fell asleep and the visitors had left, I sat in the hospital chair watching my grandson breathe steady and calm. He'd reminded me of something I'd forgotten in the chaos of legal battles and death threats. This wasn't about winning or losing. It wasn't about Diana or the HOA or property rights. It was about standing up, about refusing to let tyrants win through fear. About showing a 7-year-old kid that when someone tries to freeze you out, you don't quit, you build a fire so big they can't ignore it. The trial started 3 weeks later. Tyler was home, healthy, sleeping in a warm house because the community had refilled our propane tanks and Desert Warriors had installed a backup heating system for free. I attended every day of that trial, sitting in the gallery with my grandson beside me during afternoon sessions when school let out. The prosecution built their case methodically. Bank records showing $187,000 embezzled through Diana's shell company. Email evidence of her coordinating harassment. Thomas Abbott's testimony about intimidation tactics. Carmen's story about her murdered chickens. Victor's account of targeted violations. Beth's testimony about Diana's attempt to force her out after her husband died. And finally, my turn. I walked to the stand, hand on the Bible, swore to tell the truth. The prosecutor asked me to describe November 5th, 2024. I woke up at 6 a.m., went outside to check the propane system like I do every morning. The tanks were empty. All 6. Drained completely. What was the temperature that night? 38 degrees. Going down to 35 by week's end. You have a grandson living with you? Tyler, 7 years old. Asthma. What went through your mind when you saw those empty tanks? I looked at Diana. She was staring at the table. I thought about my grandson trying to breathe in a cold house. I thought about how I'd kept soldiers warm in Afghanistan and couldn't keep my own family warm in Phoenix. And I thought about how someone had taken that from me, not because I'd done anything wrong, but because they wanted my land. Did Mrs. Castellano ever express interest in your property? Multiple times. She wanted to expand Desert Vista's boundary. My land had water views she wanted for the HOA. When I refused to sell, the violations started. What kind of violations? Propane storage, fence height, garden placement. Things that had been fine for 5 years suddenly weren't. She was building a paper trail to justify taking what she couldn't buy. The prosecutor showed the video Diana at 2:40 a.m., supervising the theft. Mrs. Castellano claimed this was a safety removal. Was your propane system unsafe? No, sir. County approved, professionally installed, inspected annually. I managed fuel systems for the United States Air Force for 23 years. I know what safe looks like. What happened to that propane after it was removed? Deanna sold it, made a profit, while my grandson slept in a cold house. The courtroom was silent. When Diana's lawyer cross-examined, he tried to make me look unreasonable. Mr. Brennan, isn't it true you refused multiple HOA requests to modify your property? I refused illegal demands to alter private property the HOA had no authority over. You posted inflammatory videos online. I posted evidence of a crime. You organized other flan residents against Mrs. Castellano. I gave people the courage to stop being victims. The lawyer paused. You're very angry at my client, aren't you? I looked at Diana. She finally met my eyes. I'm not angry at your client. I'm disappointed. She had power, real power, to help people, and she used it to hurt them, to steal, to terrorize. That's not anger. That's sadness for what she could have been and chose not to be. The lawyer sat down. No more questions. When the prosecution rested, Diana's defense was thin. She took the stand another mistake and tried to justify everything. I was protecting the community, property values, safety standards. Everything I did was for the neighborhood. The prosecutor's cross-examination was surgical. You embezzled $187,000. That was compensation for services. What services? Name one project Vista Property Solutions completed. Silence. You can't, because it was a shell company that existed only to steal from your neighbors. You stole Mr. Brennan's propane and sold it for profit. That was a safety removal. That was a $2,400 deposit into your account the next day. Safety removal or theft for profit? Diana's hands trembled. I made mistakes. Did you lie about Mr. Brennan's military service? I believed. Did you create false allegations of stolen valor knowing they were false? I was trying to defend myself by defaming a veteran, by attempting to destroy his credibility, by weaponizing his service against him. Diana started crying, not the calculated tears from her press conference. Real, ugly, defeated tears. I didn't mean for it to go this far. I wanted control. I wanted people to respect me. You wanted to be a tyrant, the prosecutor finished. And when someone finally stood up to you, you tried to destroy them. The jury deliberated 6 hours. When they returned, the forewoman stood. On count 1, theft in the first degree, guilty. Count 2, fraud, guilty. Count 3, organized fraud under RICO statutes, guilty. All 47 counts, guilty, guilty, guilty. Diana collapsed into her chair, hands covering her face. I felt no triumph, just exhaustion, just relief, just the quiet satisfaction of knowing that justice, however slow, eventually arrives. Sentencing came 2 weeks later. Judge Margaret Chen didn't waste words. Mrs. Castellano, you held a position of trust. Instead of serving, you terrorized. Instead of leading, you stole. You endangered children. You defamed veterans. You weaponized bureaucracy against the vulnerable. This court sentences you to 8 years in the Arizona Department of Corrections, followed by 5 years supervised probation. You will pay full restitution of $187,000. You are permanently barred from any HOA or community governance role in Arizona. This case should serve as a warning. Abuse of power has consequences. The gavel fell. Diana was led away in handcuffs. Outside the courthouse, reporters crowded. I gave them one sentence. Tyrants only win when good people stay silent. We stopped being silent. That was it. No grand speech, no victory lap. Just the truth. Tyler and I drove home through Phoenix traffic. He fell asleep in the passenger seat, breathing easy, warm coat unzipped because the truck's heater worked and home would be warm too. The propane tank sat full in our yard. The backup heating system hummed quietly. The house glowed warm as we pulled into the driveway. I carried Tyler inside, tucked him into bed, and stood at the window watching the desert night settle in. Cold out there, but warm in here. Always warm in here now. 6 months later, Desert Vista had new leadership. Carmen Rodriguez served as treasurer, Victor Chen as president. Beth Morrison ran the Community Garden Committee. They rewrote the bylaws, banned retaliation, created the Brennan Protection Act, requiring independent review before any enforcement action. Real change, real leadership. Not perfect, there were still disputes, still complaints, still the normal friction of people living together, but the fear was gone. One Saturday afternoon, there was a knock at my door. I opened it to find a woman in her 30s, nervous, holding a folder. Mr. Brennan? I'm Rachel Castellano, Diana's daughter. My first instinct was to close the door, but something in her face, shame, exhaustion, determination, made me pause. What do you want? To apologize. For my mother. For what she did to you, to Tyler, to everyone. She held out the folder. These are letters. From her, she's been writing them in prison. To you, to the other victims. Her therapist says she needs to take accountability, but I don't know if she gets it. I took the folder, but didn't open it. Why bring these to me? Because you were the one who stood up. Everyone else she hurt stayed quiet. You didn't. And because, she hesitated, I grew up watching her become what she became. The control, the need to dominate. I thought it was strength. I defended her even when I knew she was wrong. I'm ashamed of that. You're not responsible for your mother's choices. No, but I'm responsible for mine. I stayed silent. I enabled. I'm sorry. She turned to leave, then looked back. My mom destroyed lives because no one stopped her early. You stopped her. Thank you. After she left, I sat on the porch with that folder unopened. Tyler came out, sat beside me. Who was that? Diana's daughter. What did she want? To say sorry. Tyler thought about that. Are you going to forgive Diana? I looked at the propane tanks in the yard, at the faint scar, on one where the hasty 2 a.m. extraction had scratched the steel. That scratch would never buff out. A permanent reminder. I don't know, buddy. Maybe forgiveness isn't the point. Maybe the point is just making sure it doesn't happen again. Did it work? Did we make it not happen again? I pulled him close. Yeah, we did. That night, I finally opened Diana's letter. 3 pages. Handwritten. She described her childhood, her need for control stemming from chaos, her belief that being feared was safer than being loved. She admitted she'd been wrong, apologized, said she understood if I never forgave her. I read it twice, then folded it back into the envelope. Forgiveness? Maybe someday, but not today. Today was for remembering what we'd fought for and won. The next morning, I woke to Tyler making breakfast, well, burning toast and scrambling eggs that were more rubber than food, but the effort counted. What's the occasion? Nothing. Just wanted to. We ate terrible eggs and laughed about them. The house was warm. The propane tanks hummed their quiet song. And outside, the desert sun climbed into a cloudless sky, washing everything in gold. Later, Victor stopped by to discuss the new community bylaws. Carmen brought her new chickens to show Tyler, who named them all after Air Force planes. Beth invited us to the memorial garden dedication for her late husband. Life moved forward, not perfect. Not without scars. Tyler still had nightmares, sometimes dreams of being cold, of windows breaking, of losing home. Those scars would fade but never fully disappear. One of my propane tanks developed a slow leak. Months later, the extraction damage finally manifesting. The repair guy said it must have been stress during rapid decompression. Someone drained this fast, he observed. Real fast. That's not how you're supposed to do it. I looked at that scarred tank, repaired now but never quite the same. Just like us. Functional, warm, but carrying marks that would last. And maybe that was okay. Maybe scars aren't failures, they're just proof you survived. Spring came. Tyler turned 8. We planted a garden, vegetables, herbs, sunflowers, tall as fences. Things Diana would have cited as violations, but there were no more citations, no more threats. Just neighbors helping neighbors, gardens growing wild and free, and the quiet satisfaction of living without fear. One evening, as the sun set purple and orange over the desert, Tyler and I sat on the porch with lemonade watching the stars emerge. Grandpa, do you think about her? Diana? Sometimes. Do you think she's changed? I thought about that letter, about her daughter's visit, about whether people really change or just learn to hide what they were. I don't know, but I know we changed. We learned we're stronger than we thought. That's what matters. I'm glad we didn't freeze, Tyler said quietly. Me too, buddy. Me too. The propane tanks hummed in the dark, keeping us warm. That scratch on tank number 3 caught moonlight, gleaming like a scar. A reminder. A warning. A victory. Diana Castellano sits in Perryville tonight, year 3 of 8. Maybe she's different now. Maybe she's not. I don't spend my time wondering. My time is for Tyler's soccer games, for the garden that needs weeding, for Saturday barbecues with neighbors who've become family. Good problems. Human problems. The kind that make life worth living. The kind Diana never understood because she was too busy trying to control everything around her to actually live. The propane tanks still hum. The backup heating system still works. And every cold desert night when Tyler sleeps warm and safe, when I hear that quiet mechanical purr of fuel keeping my grandson comfortable, I remember they tried to freeze us out. They failed. Not because I was stronger, not because I was smarter, but because when they pushed, I pushed back. When they lied, I showed truth. When they tried to make me quit, I remembered what I was fighting for. Sometimes, late at night, when everyone's asleep and the house is quiet, I walk outside and touch that scarred propane tank. The metal is cold under my palm, but inside, the fuel waits ready to burn, to warm, to sustain. That's the thing about scars. They mark where you've been hurt, but they also prove you healed. They show you survived. And sometimes, when the light hits them right, they shine. The fire's still burning, and it's not going out.